nandoon. So let us not, put ourselves into this situation, no? Na masyadong mahirap ang ating assessment o kaya malabo ang assessment, hindi maintindihan ng bata. So it should be practical. It should be like it can be done. So kayang gawin ng learner, especially ng learner. Next, give learners a range of ways to demonstrate their learning. So pwede ring, kaya nga, meron tayong two types of test, yung written at yung performance. Kasi may mga bata na magaling sila sa performing skills. So they can do that. They can demonstrate. They can create. They can also write. So dapat our assessments should be flexible. Next, provide timely and accurate information as basis for feedback. Again, I have emphasized this a while ago. When is timely? Timely means assessment should be given. If you are done with the first two modules or the first 2 weeks, the assessment should accompany the third week module. That is the assessment for the first and second week. So yun ang timely, no? Feedback, of course, at the end, upon retrieval of the third module or when the learners are already submitting their outputs for your assessment, that's the time that you give the feedback. So I hope it's very clear to our teachers. Number 12. In distance learning modalities, teachers shall design assessments bearing the assumption that learners will asynchronously take them and have open access to various sources. Ano yung asynchronous? I highlighted asynchronous. So when we say synchronous, that is real-time meeting. Just like our meeting today, you and I are talking, though we are not facing, we are not on face-to-face basis, but we are synchronously meeting because this is real time. Dapat pwede rin daw asynchronous. So meaning, pwedeng ang assessment ay gagawin mo ngayon, ibibigay mo sa kanila, ipapasa nila later. Or when you teach your children online or the students online, pwede ang lesson mo is recorded, pre-recorded, and then i-play mo during the online class. That is asynchronous. So, pwede mong ibigay ang assessment mo through online, through text, through email, or printed. So that is various sources. Ang importante, all
email ang teacher.
Ma'am, am I heard in the field? So,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So the assumption there is that the assumption there should be all learners should have access to your assessment. So hindi excuse na hindi nakasubmit ng output si learner because hindi niya alam na meron palang assessment. Kasi the teacher did not care to inform the learner. Remember, teachers, no learner left behind. No child left behind. Dapat silang lahat.
Gi-off na nako gadi niya pagkuan nako. Mabalik man sad. Wala na po.
Okay. So dapat lahat ng learner should know that there was or there is an assessment. And they should know when is the submission of the output. Okay, yan yun. Number 13, when deciding on which assessment methods to use, it is important to consider the following questions. One, what is the purpose of the assessment? Of course, alam natin, why do we assess? Because we want to ensure that learning took place. Okay, so yun. What will be assessed? Ano daw ang ating i-assess? So dapat you know the scope of your assessment. So again, ang scope for the first assessment would be the first and second module. Yun ang scope. 3. Which method would best allow learners to demonstrate what they have learned, considering their learning modality? So, paano ba masagot ni learner ang iyong assessment? Kung siya ay online, kung siya ay naka-radio-based instruction, kung siya ay naka-TV-based instruction, kung siya ba ay modular digitized or modular printed. So, these are the things that you should consider. Letter D, which method would make it easy to gather evidences of learners' progress over time? So, ano kaya ang mas mabilis na pag-gather ng outputs, ng evidences? Pwede kayang i-text na lang, pwede kayang i-email, pwede kayang i-FB, i-messenger, or dalhin ni parent sa inyo, sa eskwelahan. So, whichever is the method. Will the assessment be completed individually or in groups? So, you should be clear in the instruction that, or if the assessment shall be done individually or by group, especially sa performance tasks, because these are, most of the performance tasks can be done by group. Letter F, will the assessment be taken at the same time or submitted within a specific period? So, you should be very clear when will the learner submit their output of the assessment. So, set the deadline, set the time, but of course, again, ano yung sinasabi natin, time and time again, we must be lenient. So, wag naman masyadong rigid. Kinahanglan, after 5 days, nahumanagid mo ani. No. So, leniency is the key. Letter G, how will class size affect the way the assessment will be conducted? So, class size, i-consider, especially kung online ka. No? Supposedly, 20 lang ang the size of the class must be 20 lang dapat in our new normal situation. But if your class size would like be ranged to 30 or 40 kasi walang ibang internet connection kundi yun lang sa'yo, doon lang sa computer laboratory ninyo. So like 25 or 30. So you must consider the class size. How can technology help? Okay, I highlighted technology help. So dapat this technology will be of help, not that our technology will be the cause of the failure. O kaya, ayaw, dili na lang ta, kay hinay kayo ang internet. Walay load, hinay kaayo, dili makasend og message and everything. So dapat, technology should be of help, not of an excuse not to accomplish the task. So I hope this is very clear to our teachers. Number 14. In order to inform teaching and promote growth and mastery, formative assessment strategies should, letter A, establish clear learning targets and success criteria, elicit useful evidence of learning, provide timely and effective feedback, engage learners in assessing and improving each other's work. So, pwede rin sila, no, mag-compare ng kanilang mga sagot. tama ba ang pagkaintindi ko? Tama ba ang paggawa ko ng output ni teacher? So let them do that. Especially kung online. So they could like engage among themselves. And letter E, increase ownership of their own learning. So I emphasize this letter E because uh, as like as an English teacher before, so when do we say that we own a learning? So, di ba, there is this idea that if a learner is able to use like a word or that idea at least 3 times in her lifetime, so that's the only time that you can say you own the learning. So dapat yung mga estudyante natin, if they really learn something, they must be able to apply in their life at least 3 times this idea or this learning. So that's the only time we can say, natuto talaga siya. No? So let us, be mindful to this. So ownership of the learning. Number 15, formative assessment is about getting better, so it should be specific, frequent, repetitive, and free from restrictions of grading. So again, uh, as I mentioned before, repetitive. Kaya nga, we do drills, we do choral reading, we do recitations, we do memorizations, because this would help the learner to learn better, to learn more. And these are formative assessments. Again, these are not graded. Number 16, to evaluate student learning at particular points in each quarter, summative assessment shall continue in the form of written works and performance tasks. So what are the assessments that you are going to prepare, dear teachers? Written works and performance tasks. How many written works? Again, let me emphasize, 4 written works and 4 performance tasks. So why 4? Because in every 2 weeks, in every 2 modules, like the first and second module, meron kang isang written work, isang performance task. For the third and fourth module, another written work and another performance task, and so on and so forth. So yung 8 module divided by 2, 4 written works and 4 performance tasks for the entire quarter. So I hope it is very, very clear to all of you teachers. Written works shall be administered to assess essential. So how is written works in the form of? It will be on quizzes and long unit tests. So long quizzes or long tests. How long? Depende sa grade level. Sa secondary, uh, it's we give the assessment to you. If you're like senior high school or junior high school could answer like 20 to 30 item test, quiz, or long test, then so be it. For the lower grades, grade 1 could be like 5, 10 perhaps. So, kayo na bahala doon. So, quizzes and long test. Uh, that would be the form of your written works. I highlighted again selected response and constructed response formats. So pwede siyang selected response, so meaning multiple choice, no? So may pagpipilian siya, A, B, C, D, E. Or pwede namang constructed response. Sila ang gagawa ng sagot. Like you ask them to compose a poem, you ask them to like write a journal, you ask them to complete an open-ended question. Like for example, you say sa mga grade 1 or grade 2, like I am happy because they will fill up the idea to complete the idea or the sentence. Or sa higher grades naman, like in English, you would say, I conclude that the villain in the story will die because, oh, blah, 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 blah. So, yung mga ganun. They will do the answering or they will simply select the correct answer. So, whatever is the format, it's up to you. For the uh, performance task, this refers to assessment tasks that allow learners to show what they know and are able to do in diverse ways. So, dapat iba-iba ang pamamaraan ng paggawa ng performance task. They can create, so they will create something, baka model, baka diorama, or whatever you want them to do, or innovate. Mag-innovate sila. Pwede silang like in online, report online, or like present their performance task online sa MAPE, di ba, yung magsasayaw, kakanta. So they can do it online. So learners would like sing or like dance online. And pwede nilang i-record ang kanilang performance task sa YouTube or whatever and then send to the teacher. So that will be the performance task. No? Ang mahalaga, meron silang na-perform. Meron silang ginawa. It is important to note the written outputs may also be considered as performance tasks. So, hindi lahat ay sasayaw, gagawa, mag-invento, mag-create. Pwede rin ang written outputs to be considered performance tasks like journal. So, you ask them to create a journal. Ginawa nila yon. It can be performance task. So, pwede rin siyang graduhan as performance task. Like, you want them to create a poem. So, performance task din yun. Nagsulat siya. Pero, that is performance task. So, again, let me emphasize, pwede ang written works be considered as performance task. Next, performance tasks must be designed to provide opportunities for learners to, okay, one, must be accompanied with clear directions and appropriate scoring tools. So when you give the performance task, dapat merong kasamang rubrics, kasamang checklist, or a rating scale perhaps. In the annexes, topic of Ma'am Munina Antikina, there will be, she will be showing to you examples of rubrics, checklists, and rating scales. So you need not to like drain your brain of creating these things. Kasi meron na doon. You just have to choose, dear teachers. Next, teachers are advised to collaboratively design and implement performance tasks. So pwede rin magsama-sama ang mga teachers. Collaboration, like Filipino and English teachers could collaborate, no, in giving the performance task. MAPE teachers could collaborate in giving their performance task. Like kung iba naman ang PE teacher, iba naman ang art teacher, iba ang music, so mag-collaborate sila so that one performance task of a learner, there would be like 3 teachers who could give grade for one performance task. So this is the reason behind. So less ang energy ni learner in producing the performance task, but the impact is wider. So like tatlong teachers agad ang nakinabang for one performance task. So this is the reason behind. Learners must be given flexibility in accomplishment of the performance task. Again, let us be flexible. So, hindi dapat then and then ipasubmit ang performance task. No. No? So again, lenient, be flexible. Nonetheless, all learners within a class should be assessed on the same competencies using the same scoring tool. So ito yung sinasabi nating fair and just. Lahat ng learners pareho dapat ng assessment task, ng assessment. Meaning, kung if you ask a certain learners to do this performance task, pareho din dapat sa mga classmates niya, no? The same. Letter D, teachers must exercise their professional judgment. Okay. What is being emphasized here is to practice and to redo their work whenever necessary. Sa pag-submit ni bata, ni learner, na she was not able to like create the correct performance task kasi probably she didn't understand very well the instruction, or she doesn't have the capability of doing it. Give her time to practice, give her time to redo their work when necessary. 'Di ba sinasabi naman natin, leniency. So dapat hindi siya naging hadlang para makapasa ang bata. So like, kasi you're not able to do the performance task, o zero ka ngayon. No. Give her time to practice. Give her time to redo. No? So that is leniency on the part of the teacher, and consideration on the part of the teacher. 18. Last slide. Teachers should set realistic expectations and use their professional judgment to find a good balance between what is effective and what is feasible to accomplish remotely. So what I highlighted there is what is effective. Ano ba ang effective at the same time feasible? Baka naman kasi your assessment is very effective but cannot be done, not feasible. So hindi rin dapat. So you must balance the effectivity and the possibility of accomplishing the performance task, especially that we are having distance learning. Malayo tayo sa ating mga learners. So they could encounter obstacles, they could encounter a variety of problems. So we consider possibility to accomplish and the effectivity of accomplishing the learning task. Uh, the continuation of this assessment preparation would be explained to us by the next speaker. But then, before I end, let me share this to you. Never regret a day in your life. Good days give you happiness, and bad days give you experience. So kahit naman tayo ay nasa pandemic, kahit yung mga ibang community natin ay nag-positive, COVID positive, still these bad days give us learning, give us great experience. So thank you and good morning once again.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Vilma, for that very substantive input. Uh, Next, we shall have Education Program Supervisor for Kindergarten, Madam Helen B. Silao, to discuss to us the conduct of assessment remotely and to include feedbacking and remediation. Fellow educators, Mom Helen Silao.
Ma'am Helen, nakamute po ma'am kayo.
Ma'am RC, please assist Ma'am Sila, Ma'am Ars.
Recorded yata yung kay Ma'am Helen.
Ay, good morning Ma'am Ami.
Gi-assist na, ma'am. Gi-assist na.
Ito Ma'am Ars.
Okay, thank you.
Walay sound gihapon, ma'am.
No sound.
Parang mute siguro siya Ma'am Ars.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning po. Ako?
Try the window tab, ma'am.
Saan to? Hello, Ma'am Ami. Good morning po.
Good morning, Ma'am Tenya. What?
Okay, okay.
Well, wait muna kay Ma'am, kay Ma'am Helen.
Sir. Po, ma'am.
No audio.
Okay po, ma'am. Ako, ma'am. Ikaw na po, ma'am. Represent naman siya. Mute ako.
I think we have to give time for Mom Helen to fix her presentation. I think, Mom Ami, shall we proceed to the next speaker so that we will not be wasting time? We shall have the discussion of grading and promotion to be delivered to us by Public Schools District Supervisor, Ma'am Arsenia C. Zamoras.
Okay, sige na, ma'am. Tingnan.
Hello? Okay.
Proceed.
Yung cellphone na, wala.
Wala nga. Wala kayo headphone.
Wala. Sige, go ahead na. Okay. Ano yung presentation? Sandali lang po. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Especially to our schools division superintendent, Sir June, Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Ma'am Lorma, and to the two chiefs, Ma'am Ami and Sir Noor. Good morning.
Good morning, Ma'am
I will be
Marcel.
presenting to you the grading and promotion of DepEd Order number 31 series of 2020. This is the continuation of Ma'am Helen's report. Letter D, grading and promotion. The challenges brought to light by the coronavirus pandemic, specifically the implementation of different distance learning delivery modalities, have sparked a larger conversation about the role grades play in a student learning, prompting education sectors to rethink traditional grading schemes. The grading system implemented in this interim policy provides reasonable leniency to learners who are put to a larger disadvantage by the pandemic, but at the same does not compromise the integrity and principles of assessment and grading. So kahit na we are now under this coronavirus pandemic, but still the grading system of the learners will not affect to this what we have this pandemic that we have now. 24, written works and performance tasks shall be administered to assess the content and performance standards that describe the knowledge, abilities, and skills that learners are expected to demonstrate. This task could be designed to include the following. So in this school year, the learners should be graded using the two assessment components, which is the written works and the performance tasks. Again, these tasks could be designed to include the following. Letter A, students' learning portfolio that documents all the evidence of learning within the grading period, including self-reflections, self-evaluations of performance tasks, guided by rubrics, and self-selected best outputs in learning modules. So dito sa the task must be designed to the following. So yung student learning portfolio that will document the evidence of the learning of the pupils within the grading period. So included na dyan and self-reflections and self-evaluations, and the performance task, kailangan i-attach na doon ang rubrics. And that will be the best outputs of their learning modules. Letter B, minimum of 4 written works and 4 performance tasks within the quarter, preferably 1 in 2 weeks, integrating 2 or more competencies. So this was already explained by Ma'am Vilma a while ago, that for every quarter there should be a minimum of 4 written works and 4 performance tasks. So then for letter C, all competencies should be covered by the performance task. A performance task can be used to assess science, math, and English all together for certain topics. So yun po, yung science, math, and English. So dyan po ang coverage ng performance task of a learner. 25, for the current school year, quarterly assessment shall not be administered. However, days allotted for quarterly assessment in Deped Order number 7 series of 2020 for the school calendar and activities for school year 2020-21 may be used for the presentation of major performance for the quarter that addresses the performance standards. So for this school year, quarterly assessment shall not be administered. Wala tayong quarterly assessment. However, days allotted still based on the Deped Order number 7 series of 2020 or the calendar of activities for this school year 2020-2021. Quarterly examinations were given in a weight of 20% constantly in DO number 8 series of 2015. Since it will no longer be a part of the grading system for this school year, its previously determined weight was distributed equally into written works and performance tasks, allotting an additional of 10% to each component. This maintains an emphasis on performance tasks for some learning areas. So dati meron tayong quarterly examination. Pero sa ngayon, wala na tayo nito. What we have now is, for this school year, the learners will be rated equally by using the two assessment components, which is the written works and the performance task. I'm showing to you here table 1, weight distribution of the summative assessment components per learning area for grade 1 to grade 10. As you can see, assessment components, written works, and performance tasks. The weights for languages, Araling Panlipunan, and ESP, 40% for written works and 60% for performance tasks. For science and math, 50-50. 50% for written works and 50% for performance tasks. For MAPI, APP, and TLE, written works 30% and performance tasks 70%. So of each written assessment components, 100% ang total nito. For table 2, weight distribution of the summative assessment components for senior high school. Assessment components, written works, and performance tasks. For the core subjects, 40% to written works and 60% for performance tasks. For all in the academic track, for all other subjects, written works 40%, performance tasks 60%, a total of 100%. For work immersion, research, business enterprise simulation, exhibit, performance, written works 50%, performance tasks 50%, a total of 100%. For technical, vocational, and livelihood, or TVL, sports, arts, and design tracks, work immersion, research exhibit, and performance, written works 30%, performance tasks 70%. So that's how we are going to, that is the weight distribution of every subject in different, the distribution of summative assessment in the written works and performance of the different learning areas. The table 2 shows for senior high school. Table 3, sample computation of written works and performance tasks in languages, Araling Panlipunan, ESP for grade 2 to grade 10, and senior high school core subjects. So, my dear viewers, hindi ko na masyadong i-explain yung written works and performance task kasi na-explain na yon ni Ma'am Mrs. Vilma Velasco kanina. So, what I am trying to explain now is how to compute or showing you the sample computation of written works and performance tasks in languages, ASP, and Araling Panlipunan for grade 1 to grade 10 and senior high school core subjects. Now, for the first table, written works, as what I have said a while ago, the equivalent is 40%. Now, you have here the highest possible score. And for learner, and then you have there learner A. For example, no? There are 4 written words. That 4 written words must be given in every 2 first, second module. First to second module, 1 written works. Then, since we have 8 weeks in 1 quarter, then mai-divide natin ito into 4. So, tig-dalawa. For every 2 first and second module, we are going to give 1 written works and 1 performance task. So here in this table, for written works 1, the highest possible score is 20, and the learner A got 18. So out of 20, 18 lang po ang nakuha ng learner A. For written work 2, highest possible score is 25. Learner A got only 22. For written work 3, the highest possible score is 20. Learner A got 20. And for written work 4, highest possible score is 20. But learner A got only 17. The total highest possible score now is 85. But learner A got only 77 out of 85. So here, we are going to divide 77 by 85. Then the answer is 90 point something. Then if we're going to round it off, the possible score is 91. Percentage score rather is 91. Then since the written work is 40%, that 91 percentage score, we are going to multiply that to 40%, then the answer or the weighted average is 36.4%. For performance tasks, 60%. Again, for performance task 1, the highest possible score is 15, but the learner got only 12. And for the performance task 2, highest possible score is 15. The learner got only 13. And for performance task 3, highest possible score is 25. The learner got only 19. And performance task 4 is the highest possible score is 20, but the learner got only 15. Then the sum of these 4 performance tasks, the highest possible score is 75, but the highest possible score got by the learner is only 59. So again, 59 divided by 75, total score divided by highest possible score, the percentage score is 79. Not exactly siya 79, but if we're going to use our calculator, we're going to compute, ato ni siyang gi-round off, that is why na 79. Then, get the 79, the 60% of 79. 79 times 60%, or the 60% of 79 is 47.4%. Then the initial grade, we're going to add the written works And the performance task, 34.6% plus 47.4%. The initial grade of learner A is 83.8. Then this initial grade of 83.8, we will look for table or the transmutation of grade in Annex B. Then the quarterly grade of learner A is 89. Kay ang equivalent aning 83.3 in the Annex B of DepEd Order number 8 is 89. So ito po ang Appendix B transmutation table. So yung 83, that is under 82.40 to 83.99. So the transmuted grade is 89. Now let's go to table 4. Sample computation of written works and performance tasks in mathematics, science, and science for grades 1 to grade 10. Still, written work for mathematics and science, written works is 50%, performance tasks 50%. Then we have 4, as what I have said a while ago, kailangan mayroon tayong 4 na written works in a quarter, and same with the performance task, kailangan mayroong 4. Ito na ang dapat nating maibigay. 4 lang, no? The highest possible score for written work 1, 20, the learner got only 18. Written works number 2, highest possible score 25. Learner A got only 22. Written works 3, highest possible score 20. The learner got only 20. Written works 4, 20 ang highest possible score, but the learner got only 17. If we're going to add this one, the total score, the total highest possible score is 85. Then the total score of a learner is 77. Total score of the learner divided by highest possible scores, 77 divided by 85, the percentage score is 91. Then get the 50% of that 91. So 50% of 91 is 45.5%. Then for the performance task, there are 4 minimum given performance task 4 ang naibigay. Kaya for first performance task, 15 ang highest possible score. The learner got only 12. Performance task 2, highest possible score is 15. The learner got only 13. Performance task 3, highest possible score 25. The learner got only 19. And the performance task 4, highest possible score is 20. The learner got only 15. So if we're going to add the performance task 1 to 4, the total highest possible score is 75. But the total score for the learner is only 59. So again, get the 50% of 59. Meaning you're going to multiply 59 by 0.50. So the 50% of 59 is 79. Then, as what I showed to you, the you are going to get the transmuted grade on the Annex B of DepEd Order number 8. So, the again, first you are going to add the weighted average for written works and the weighted average for performance tasks, 45.5 plus 39.5. The initial grade is 85, I mean. So that 85, tingnan na naman natin ang yung Annex B for the transmutation table sa Annex B. So the equivalent grade of this 85 based on that transmutation table, the transmutation grade is 90. So ang grade ng bata sa quarterly grade or sa first quarter is 90. So again, nandito ang Appendix B for the transmutation table. So yung 80, yung 85, 85.60 to 87.19, transmuted grade is 90. So 84 to 85.59, transmuted grade is 90. Table 5. For Table 5, sample computation of written works and performance tasks in MAPI, EPP, TLE for grade 1 to 10. Here, the written works is 30% and the performance task is 70%. So for the for written works given to learners, the highest possible score for written work 1 is 20. The learner A got only 18. Written works 2, highest possible score 25. Learner A got only 22. Written work 3, highest possible score is 20. Learner A got only 20. For written work 4, highest possible score 20. And learner A got 17. So the highest or the total highest possible score of the 4 written works is 85. The total score for the learner for the 4 written works is 77. Then again, 77 divided by 85, the percentage score is 91. Get the 30% of 91. So the weighted average is 27.3. 30% of 90 is 27.3%. For the performance tasks, performance task 1, highest possible score is 15. Learner A got only 12. Performance task 2, 15. Learner A got only 13. Performance task 3, highest possible score 25. Learner A got only 19. And performance task 4, highest possible score 20. Learner A got 15. So the total highest possible score for the 4 performance tasks given to learner is 75, but learner A got only a total of 59. So 59 divided by 75, the percentage score is 79. So get the 70% of that 79 or multiply 79 by 70%. The weighted average is 55.3%. Then add the written words, get the sum of the written words, 27.3% plus the weighted average of the performance task, 55.3, the total is 83. So the initial grade of learner A is 83. Then this 83 to get the quarterly grade, again, tingnan natin ang equivalent ng 83 sa transmutation table. So, ang transmuted grade for the initial grade of 83 is 89. So, ang quarterly grade ng bata sa first quarter is 89. So, ito ang grade ng bata sa first quarter, 89. So, sana po clear ang computation in every table shown to you, no? Then, for 27, the transmutation table, which is Appendix B in DO number 8, series of 2015. So, yung ipinakita ko sa inyo kanina, shall still be used in this grading system. The guidelines on learners' progress report, as well as on promotion, and retention shall likewise follow the provision cited in the said policy. So, yung ipinakita ko sa inyong transmutation table kanina, that is found in Appendix B in DO number 8, series of 2015. So, doon po yan makita. So, mayroon pang table 2 dito. Transmutation table for senior high school core subjects. If the initial class standing grade is 75, then nandyan ang mga transmuted grade. Table 3, transmutation table for other senior high school subjects in the academic track. If the initial class standing grade is 70, then the transmuted grade is at the right side. Letter E, role of technology. Technology plays a substantial role in helping teachers in the development, communication, implementation, and grading of assessment tasks. A matrix of sample tools organized by low, medium, and high technology is provided in Annex G. Yung Annexes A to G, to F will be discussed to you by the next speaker, Ma'am Munina Antiquena. She will be the one to explain for this Annex G. Roman numeral 6, monitoring and evaluation. Number 29, the school heads shall be primarily responsible for supervising the implementation of this policy in their schools, ensuring that the provisions are communicated to all concerned stakeholders in the school community. So kailangan, ito talaga ang dapat natin tandaan, ang school heads plays an important role in, or malaki ang responsibility ng school head in supervising. Kailangan talaga i-supervise if this policy is really implemented in the school, and kailangan din ma-inform ang mga concerned stakeholders in your community. So again, school heads, malaki ang ating responsibilidad. Kailangan natin i-supervise ng maigi kung talaga bang na-implement ang policy na to. Number 13, the regional and school division offices shall jointly monitor the compliance of schools with these guidelines. The Curriculum and Learning Management Division and Curriculum Implementation Division shall diligently collaborate with each other in ensuring that the provision of this policy are complied with. So, hindi lang mga school heads, regional and school division offices, kailangan jointly monitor, mag-collaborate, tulong-tulungan talaga sa pag-monitor whether this for the implementation of these guidelines. Number 31, at the school level, the implementation of this policy shall be monitored and evaluated at least once every quarter by the school head. The school head shall prepare a quarterly report that includes the challenges and issues encountered throughout the policy implementation. The said report shall be submitted to the schools division office for collation and analysis. The SDOs will then prepare a biannual analysis report for submission to the regional office. So, yung mga school heads, kailangan talaga ang strict monitoring on this policy and in every or at least once every quarter. So school heads, monitor ninyo ang implementation of this policy once in every quarter. Then you are going to prepare a report on the challenges and issues encountered in your schools in the implementation of this policy. And then your report shall be submitted. I-submit po ninyo ang inyong report to the division office, and then that will be analyzed, and then the SDO will then prepare a biannual. Sila din gagawa din ng reports sa base sa mga nasubmit ng mga school heads in different schools of our division, and then gawan din yan ng report ng SDO, and then isubmit din nila sa regional office. 32, overall policy feedback from the regional offices shall be provided to the DepEd Central Office to be used in evaluating the policy for continuous improvement of its design and implementation. It will also be used in improving the design and systems of the learning continuity plan, which may be useful should there be arising challenges in the future which are analogous to COVID-19 pandemic. So, yung overall feedback ng regional offices is-submit doon sa central office, and then they're going to evaluate the feedback submitted to them, then they're going to evaluate that whether for continuous improvement of the design, of its design and implementation. So kailangan nilang ibase sa result na nasubmit ng regional offices yung pag-improve ng in improving the design of the continuity plan. If there be arising challenges, no? Similar to this COVID-19 pandemic. Sana wala na. 33. Such information shall be addressed to the Office of the Director of the Bureau of Learning Delivery via telephone numbers. Okay, nandyan ang telephone numbers and or email at building.od@deped.gov.ph. So doon po i-send ng doon i-address ang mga reports na submit sa Office of the Director of the Bureau of Learning Delivery. Roman number 7, effectivity. 34, under effectivity, this order shall take effect immediately upon its approval and shall remain in force and in effect for the duration of school year 2020-2021. This shall be registered with the Office of the National Administrative Register or ONAR at the University of the Philippines, UP Law Center, UP Diliman, Quezon City. So doon na ang sa owner, no? It shall be registered. Ma-register doon sa office ng owner at the University of the Philippines, UP Diliman. 35, number 35, under effectivity, DO number 8, series of 2015, policies, guidelines on classroom assessment for the Kinder to 12 basic education program is still in effect. But its provisions inconsistent with these guidelines are suspended for the upcoming school year. So, klaro itong number 35 under effectivity. DO number 8, series of 2015, still in effect, but still under provision. So that's all for my presentation. I'd like to share you the sayings from Jens Strachan. The greatest asset of a school is the personality of the teacher. Thank you for watching and God bless everyone.
Thank you so much, Mom Arsenia, for that very comprehensive discussion of grading and promotion, as well as monitoring and evaluation of the DepEd policy guidelines on assessment and grading system for our learners for school year 2020-2021. Very important learning from that discussion is that there will be no quarterly assessment for this school year, only the fusion of weighted grade of work written works and performance tasks rather, after obtaining its initial grade, we have to transmute it using the Appendix B of Debit Order number 8 of 2015. And from there, we can have the grade for that particular subject. And now let's move on. Let's go back actually to our speaker, Mom Helen Silao, the Education Program Supervisor for kindergarten, to discuss the conduct of remote assessment as well as feedbacking and remediation. Ladies and gentlemen, Mom Helen Silao.
Patingog kay tao na.
Pa-share ba gapon ka na?
Mute. Oh,
Ano lang?
Morning. Hello, ma.
mute na mo.
Kani? Okay na ako siguro. Okay na.
Patingog.
Kana.
Mute na lang, ma'am.
We cannot see the presentation, Mom Mitche.
Wait, ma'am siya.
Yes, sir.
Wait lang sa mama, kay giset up na mo.
Okay, sir. While waiting for the presentation of Mom Helen, let me also feed this a little learning from the discussion of Mom Zamoras. Oh, she's here, so let's have Mom Helen.
Na. Diba?
Walang audio, Ma'am Mitch.
Kung kanimo yatong i-audio, pwede ra.
Problema ang laptop ni Ma'am. Pwede siguro ibalhin natin sa laptop ni Ma'am RC.
Pamamasan niyo daw.
Once again, our long stretch of patience will be tested this time. So let's stay tuned, fellow educators. This will always happen when we have our virtual meetings and orientations. So please bear with us. Please bear with us. Thank you.
With you. Is this a recorded presentation, Ma'am Mitch?
Ma'am Ami.
Yes, ma'am. Parang recorded, Ma'am Ami.
No audio. Maybe we'll give them time to fix first their presentation. Can we move to the next speaker? Let them fix muna the presentation because it's already 10:40.
Okay, let's proceed to the next speaker. This time, let us have Ma'am Munina R. Antikina, the Education Program Supervisor for Araling Panipunan, to discuss the annexes of Debit Order number 31, series of 2020.
Okay, good morning.
I-exit.
Hello. Am I the one to present or Ma'am
Yes,
Helen
ma'am,
would
proceed. Yes, ma'am, proceed, Ma'am Munina. Ma'am Michi is working on with the slides of Ma'am Helen. She's going to get it off presenting. So it's your turn now, Ma'am Munina.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Shah. Okay. So, my highest respect and commendation also to our Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Virgilio P. Batan Jr., our Assistant School District Supervisor, Assistant School District, Assistant School Division Superintendent, Dr. Lorma I. Pukulan, our Chief of the Curriculum Implementation Division, Dr. Amelinda Di Montero, the SDOD Chief, Dr. Noor Hussein, the PSDS of Cluster A, West District, Ma'am Arsenio Zamoras, from Cluster B, PSDS Ma'am Vilma C. Velasco, our ever active school heads and principals of the West District, department heads, head teachers, and of course, our very hardworking and very dedicated teachers of the West District and all in attendance. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. So may I request Sir GM and Ma'am RC to please launch my presentation because I am using my cell phone. Okay, sige ma'am.
Na-present na, ma'am.
Ala, wala ko kalagi kakita. Wait. Okay, from the start, ma'am. Okay, sige. So, yours truly will be sharing with you 7 annexes of the DepEd Order number 31, series of 2020. Next slide, sir. The summary of this annexes are as follows. Annex A will be talking on sample techniques for its formative assessment strategy. For Annex B, we will be dealing with sample summative assessment tools that qualify as performance tasks in various learning delivery modalities. On Annex C, it will be dealing with rubrics, the two kinds of rubrics, the holistic rubric and the analytic rubric. Annex D will be on sample integrative performance tasks. Annex E will be on sample monitoring tool. Annex F will be on the 3 level of model of feedbacks. Annex G will be on matrix of sample tools organized by low, medium, and technology. And high technology, rather, please give my correction. And for Annex H, it will be the guidelines for teachers in determining appropriate performance tasks for our learning standards. So these are the things that we will be sharing with you, our dear teachers, no? Why we need to include annexes in our discussion this morning. Because as we all know, annexes are attachment. It is appendices, additional or supplementary resources, especially designed to discuss comprehensively a larger context on a particular policy or regulation. This is the primary purpose of sharing with you these annexes is to show specific examples on how to do the different policies or the different sections, on how to implement, how to use, how to apply this particular components of the DepEd Order 31, particularly in guideline in assessment for this kind of pandemic that we are experiencing now. Next slide, sir. Okay. So, Annex A is on sample techniques for its formative assessment strategy. Why are formative assessment important? Yet they are not rated. They are not given grades. Now, because formative assessment paved the way on the learning experience of each learners. It gives them the opportunity to experience the different approaches, the different methods on how to learn the topics and the topics and the lessons that they are to learn. It will help them easily accomplish the summative assessment if effective, efficient, very rich, practical, attainable, formative assessment will be provided them. And so, if you are using the manner of asynchronous and synchronous uh, modality in the distance learning, these are the different techniques and the different ways on how you will give effective, efficient, formative assessment. First, if you want to establish clear learning target and success criteria, if you are in the asynchronous manner, these are the following things that you will do. First, by the way, a while ago, Ma'am Vilma already discussed with you the difference between asynchronous and synchronous. What we are doing now is a way of synchronous learning because it's a one-time experience wherein though are not physically together, yet we can understand, you can hear me, I can hear you. So there is an interaction in one time. But by the use of this distance learning, using our printed or digital or ETB or RBI, probably these are the most common modalities that our teachers of West District are using. Now, if you want to give them the clear targets of their learning and success criteria, first, what you're going to do is post the learning targets before the start of a lesson to get learners to think about what they will be learning and how these are connected to their prior knowledge and personal experiences. That's why we always start our delivery of instruction. Even in our module, we always start with the objectives, the target, the learning target that we need them to study or we need them to learn. So it's very important to post these learning targets before the start of the lesson. Another way of establishing clear target learning is present at least two contrasting samples of anonymous work and ask learners to post a comment on which is better and why. So these are not named, no. So you can present them of two anonymous works and then let them evaluate, let them choose, let them say something about those works. Okay. Another one, you show a checklist or rubric to provide learners a clear idea of what is expected of them to achieve in relation to the learning targets. Then invite them to comment or raise questions. Yes, this is particularly true if we are to introduce a performance task or a product that they are to make. No, first we have to set what are our way of giving them points. What are our ways of assessing them? So it's very important to show them at first this checklist or the rubrics. Well, if you are also doing the synchronous manner, you are on online, live chat, or video call, or phone call, these are the following you can do, my dear teachers, if you are to establish clear learning target and success criteria. First, share and highlight important details of the learning targets. and then ask learners to explain the targets in their own words. Another, present at least two contrasting pieces of anonymous work and ask learners which is better and why. Another is the same with the synchronous. Show them a checklist or a rubrics and initiate an interactive discussion on the expected levels of performance. Invite learners to comment or raise questions. So in this way, presenting this rubric or checklist, we can ask them if they are comfortable with this, if they want to add other criteria, or if they want to change some criteria that would fit them. In this way, there will be active interaction between the learners and the teachers with this particular manner. Okay, if you want also to elicit useful evidences of learning, you want to generate and you want to know the kind of learning that you achieve from the learning that you have in the module, on the online, or any modalities that they are engaged into. If you are in the asynchronous manner, these are the following that you are to do. Now, post a variety of questions, especially those that will engage learners in deep thinking. Ask learners to respond and to comment on other classmates' answer. No. So in this particular manner, in this particular way, we can tell it. We can waken the critical thinking of our learners if we are to provide them hypothetical, high ordered thinking skill questions that will arouse their interest to think deeper on a particular question or particular ideas. Another, provide exercises in multiple formats. It may be binary choice, multiple choice, matching, short answer, essays, and let the learners choose when to complete its exercises during a specific period. Now, so there are many ways of how to generate learnings from our learners if you are to use a synchronous manner. Those things can be used, no? Another one, have learners use a pen, a paper-based or digital journal to keep a record of what they learn each day. Yes, this is very important now. To ensure that there will be learning on their part, we can instruct them to write in their journal or in their, if they're using the laptop, they can also encode whatever learnings that they have to record everything that they ever generate from the learnings that they have. And if you are also using the synchronous and you want to elicit useful evidence of learning, these are the following. No, you can pose a variety of questions, especially those that will engage learners in deep thinking. In a whole or a small group discussion, call at random at least 2 learners to answer and then allow volunteers to contribute responses. So this is primarily what the typical discussion is all about. Now, they are to think critically on a particular discussion or this particular idea and then elicit things that they want to share on that particular idea. Another one, provide exercises in multiple formats. This is the same true in asynchronous. Now, it can be in binary choice, multiple choice, matching type, short answer, or essays. And this is to be taken on the same day at the same time. Give learners a set to complete its exercises. This is because this is online, this is synchronous, it is a one time. So whatever learnings they have from that topic, remember that this is synchronous. We have to collect at once their outputs and activities. While in the asynchronous, let's just wait for the time when we will collect and retrieve the modules in time. No? Another strategy in giving formative assessment. If you want to provide effective feedback, how? If you are using the asynchronous manner, record and upload an audio or video file containing feedback on learners' performance. No, you want to share with them their learnings and the feedback of how have they performed from that particular task. You can by sending them written feedbacks via email, single messages system or SMS, or mobile message. If necessary, add photographs or screenshots of learners' outputs to support the feedback. No, say for instance, in their module, no, particularly in a discussion on a topic. Halimbawa, I will be using Aralin Panlipunan in AP9. Nandoon yon sa Module 1. Ibigay ang sariling kahulugan ng economics. No, isulat ang inyong kahulugan. So there. And then you have to rate that. And then you want to show them and how did you give points on their answer. And then you can have it by screenshot or taking photos and then send it into the messenger or any platform that they have. Use the comment feature in word processing software to provide feedback on writing tasks. No, this is particularly in digital print. You can share your feedback or your comments on the way they deal with their modules, on the way they answer their modules, on the way they perform on the different tasks, on the performance tasks and the module. Okay. But in synchronous, you can also provide effective feedback through initiate a real-time conversation with the learner to give feedback about his or her performance, or a live class session to highlight details of common strengths and areas of improvement. Then have them note down the feedback they receive. This is the good thing in online or synchronous manner. No, by then and there, they can easily generate, they can easily know, we can easily inform them if their learning is effective, if they are really learning, if they are showing very good performance, or if they are very slow in, or they have difficulty in learning on the particular task, on the particular topic that we have. Kaya by then and then, doon na mismo, makikita nila na ay, malalaman nila na mahina pala ako dito sa bagay na to. Okay. During a live small group session, have learners show and explain the improvements they made. Yun ang makagandahan sa synchronous. Next slide, sir. Okay. Another thing. Now, embed hyperlinks if you are using this asynchronous manner. Embed hyperlinks to external resources which learners can easily navigate to improve future works. Now, this is particularly in digital print modules, wherein you can attach or hyperlink important or supplementary references where they can browse or they can view to add more explanation or to add more understanding on that particular lesson. We can also write feedback on an anonymous work and provide learners a copy of the work with the success criteria for the task. Ask pairs or small groups of learners to improve the work by following the feedback. Yes, no. Particularly if we are using the module, no, we can write down our comments, no, our advice, our observation, and then let our learners think about it. They have to analyze it. They have to reflect on it. So it will be easy for them to get uh, what particular feedback is given to them. If you are if you want to engage your learners in assessing and improving their own work of each other, of improving each other's work, if you are using the asynchronous manner, the following are to be employed. 1. Post ground rules for peer feedback. Invite learners to express their concern with the rules and to suggest any improvements. Then we cannot easily get their feedbacks also, or their opinions or their ideas. But then it is better, it's also best that we can also generate now feedback from our learners on how they will improve their own work. Another one, we can provide examples of different kinds of feedback comments. Ask learners to reflect on which comments would be helpful to one's work and which would not be helpful. Okay, that is one particular way of engaging them to assess their own work on how to improve their own work. Another, let learners make multiple attempts at one task and select one that they think is the best. Have them exchange their work with their partner, who select one of their partner's attempt they believe it's the best. Compare their choices and discuss any areas of concern. This is like giving them the trial and error. And then later on, they keep on trying it, and then they have to find out of which is the best way to use, on which would best that would help them improve their work. Then let them have this one, no? So let's give them multiple attempts of doing their task. Let's give them the freedom to explore, to bring out their creativeness, their resourcefulness. Anyway, it's in doing so where they will learn better. Then we keep on giving them feedbacks. We keep on giving them the comments. Let them experience on making mistakes, of making successes, of discovering what particular manner they are good in it. Now, if we are also want to engage your learners in assessing and improving their work, and you are using the synchronous manner, the following should be employed also. Conduct a whole class session to construct ground rules for peer feedback. Ask learners to explain the rules in their own words. You can also present examples of different kinds of feedback comments. Ask learners which ones they think would be helpful in improving one's work and why. Now, another one, let learners present their work on which classmates will provide constructive feedback afterwards. Encourage them to incorporate the suggestion and resubmit the revised documents later. Okay, so this is very good if we are using the synchronous manner, no? Because they themselves, the students themselves, can discover, can easily detect, can easily identify which of their work can be, which of their work will be improved, which of this task that they want to modify, they want to make it beautiful. Now, because they are there. They are collaborating. They are helping one another. They are cooperating to make their work uh, look better, or it will come out very good. Now, another strategy in formative assessment. If you want to increase learners' ownership of their own learning, using the asynchronous manner, have learners use a paper-based or digital journal to keep a record of what they learn each day. Yes, that's very good. That's why we keep instructing them to write in a separate sheet, or write in your activity notebook or in your journal, no? The things that you learn from studying the different topics in your printed module or in your digital print modules. Have learners kept a learning portfolio that documents their progress. Ask them to review their portfolio regularly and reflect on what has improved about their work. Yes. In this particular distance learning modality that we have, our learners, each of them have to come up with portfolio. It's a compilation of their outputs and learnings from the different modalities that they are using. And these things will be given scores or points. Later on, we will be dealing with that. After completing a task, ask learners to write down one thing that they found easy about the task, one thing they found difficult, and one thing that they found is interesting. Establish a parking lot for questions learners may want to raise outside a live conversation or class session. Response to these questions as they are posted. Invite learners to respond as well. Yes, no. So if there are clarification, if they want to ask some questions, no, there should be a particular parking area to post these questions. If you are using also the synchronous manner and you want to increase the learner's ownership of their learning, provide clear instruction about how learners can use a learning journal or portfolio to keep a record of their progress. You ask learners to share one thing they found easy about that task and how they have completed, one thing that they found it difficult, and one thing they found it very interesting. Schedule also a session for answering the question posted in the parking lot. It encourages also the learners to respond first. Okay, next slide, sir. Okay. So the thing that was discussed in Annex A are the different strategies in ensuring that a formative assessment can be given to our learners, because that is very essential in the progress, in their progress, and their performance, and their improvement, and their learning. Okay, Annex B is on sample summative assessment tools that qualify performance tasks in various learning delivery modalities. So these are the lists that we will be sharing with you. No, it will not be hard for us to think and to plan. Ano kayang bibigay ko na written works? Ano kayang products ang aking i-require for my learners? Ano kayang performance task ang aking ipapagawa sa kanila? Balik-balik naman na lang ang aking mga ipinagagawa sa kanila. So, Annex B will help you. You can choose an array of these different items in giving your written outputs, their products, and performance tests. Definitely, we are not to use the face-to-face learning because of our situation. But if we are to return to normal, we can use of this. So in the face-to-face learning, if you are teaching languages like English and Filipino, what written outputs that you can give to your learners. It can be a book or article reviews. It can be an essays, journals, letter writing, reaction or reflection papers, or any reports. No. Um, if you are also want to come up, if you want them to come up with a product and you are teaching English and Filipino, uh, instruct them to come up with a campaign or a case study, collage, composition, literary analysis, multimedia productions, portfolios, research projects, story or poem writing. Hello? Am I still here? Am I
Yes,
still
ma'am.
being heard? Okay, thank you.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Baka ako na lang pala ang nagsasalita dito, no? Okay. And again, if you want them to have a performance task, it will not be hard for you to think and to plan. No. You can let them have a debates, an interview, a multimedia presentation, a panel discussion, a presentation, a project making, a role plays, a speech delivery, or a storytelling or reading task. So it it's not easy. There are 4 performance tasks in 1 quarter. So pili na kayo. Oh, ang dami-daming mga nandiyan. So if you are also a teacher in mathematics, if you want to give them your written outputs, what can you give them? You can give them a data recording and analysis, geometric and statistical analysis, graphs, charts or maps, problem sets, and surveys. Those are written works. For products, you can let them make a diagrams, a mathematical investigatory project, a model, making models of geometric figures, number representations, portfolio also. And if you want them to produce or to perform a particular task, what are these tasks? Maybe you can let them construct graphs from surveys conducted, or they can have a multimedia presentation, or outdoor math, probability experiments, problem posing, reasoning and proof through recitation, using manipulatives to show math concept, solve problems, or using measuring tools devices. You can see there are 8 performance tests. So pili na lang kayo ngayon, ngayong first 2 weeks. No. Ano sa 8 na yan ang una ninyong ipapagawa? Definitely baka pwede nating maipagawa sa kanila for the whole grading. No, pili na lang tayo. No. 4 diyan ang pwede nating maipagawa sa kanila. Okay. If you are teaching science, no, and written output will be what you want to give them. A concept map will do, data recording and analysis, laboratory reports and documentation, reaction and reflection papers, or surveys also. For products, let them have an investigatory projects, models and diagrams construction, prototype building, research papers. If you want them to perform a task, you let them do a designing and implementation of action plans. You let them debate. You let them design various models. You let them do scientific investigation or issue awareness campaign. You let them also conduct laboratory activity. Let them make multimedia presentation or a simulation or a skills demonstration or a verification of experiments. So there are many to choose from if you are a teacher in science and you have a difficulty in coming up with performance tests. So andyan na po siya. Next slide, sir. Next slide, sir. Next slide, please. Okay. Yes. If you are teaching in Aralin Panlipunan, no, and you want to come up with, you want them to have a written outputs. So what could be those? It could be a concept maps and organizers, the graphic organizers, and essays, journals, news writing, news or article reviews. There are so many of it. We can also have historical movie reviews. We have also reaction and reflection papers. Hello? Am I still being heard? Napapakinggan pa ba po ninyo?
Yes
Yes
po,
po,
ma'am.
yes po.
Okay.
Napakinggan po.
Okay. You are a teacher in, if you are a teacher in Aralin Panlipunan and you want them to have a products, what could it be? Let them make a collage and diorama making. You let them make a leaflet, a poster, a slogan making. You let them make a map or map construction, a research work, a timeline, especially in history. No. You let them do a film or documentary reviews and analysis or even advocacy papers. No. And you want them to perform tasks. So what are these tasks in Aralin Panlipunan? You let them have community involvement. You let them have a debate and interviews, an issue awareness campaign, news reporting, presentation and multimedia presentation, role plays and simulations also will do in the performances in Aralin Panlipunan. If you are a teacher in music and a written output would you like to let them have? You let them have an essay, a reaction or reflection paper, or a research paper. Walang problema sa products. Ang dami niyan sa music. You let them have a musical arrangement. Musical, song analysis. Yung gustong-gusto ng mga estudyante natin yan. No. Musical research. No, there are also students who are very interested in researching music, especially ngayon, yung mga K-pop nila. No. Or you let them write program notes. No. Or you can even let them compose their own original song. No. Pwedeng-pwede. Okay. What about performances in music? Nako, walang problema yan. Let them have a multimedia presentation, musical presentation, skills demonstration by singing, playing, or playing instruments. Okay. For arts, written works, essays, reaction, reflection paper, or research paper. For products, let them have an art criticism and appreciation compilation. No, you show a particular piece of art, let them criticize, let them appreciate, let them have their comments, no, or have them review on that particular art piece or art exhibit, no, or art projects or portfolio can do. For the performance tasks in arts, art production, multimedia presentation, portfolio, skills demonstration on drawing, coloring, painting, or they can have a stage, bulletin board production. So there are many to choose from if you are teaching arts. Physical education. In written works, we have essays, reflection paper or reaction, research paper. For products, let's have a review on article or journal. A personal witness. Nako, talagang very interested, magiging interesado sila dito. Personal fitness and health logs, portfolio. For performance tasks, have a personalized exercise programs. Let them have it. First, physical activity, participation, physical activity or fitness assessment, role plays, and skills demonstration. What about in health? What particular written works can we give them? Essays, journal, article reviews, reaction or reflection papers, research papers. What about for products? Let them have a journal responses, personal fitness and health plans, portfolio. For For performance task, a debate, personalized fitness and health program, issue awareness campaign, and role plays are some. If you are also a teacher of edukasyon sa pagpapakatao, these are the written outputs or written works which we can give our learners. We can give them essays, journal writing, journal or article reviews, reaction or reflection papers. What about for products? Argument analysis, expressing feelings and ideas through art activities, journal responses, letter, song, poem writings. What about performance tasks? Issue awareness campaigns. Ay, ang dami-dami nating mga contemporary issues now. Presentation and multimedia presentation, role plays, personal action plan, plano ng pagsasabuhay, situation analysis or pagsusuri ng sitwasyon. What about in EPP and TLE? Written works, essays, diagrams, charts and models, work designs and plans. For products, technical drawing output, prototype building, products, projects using locally available materials. For performance tasks, let them have a skills demonstration, like especially in cooking. There are so many skills demonstration in TLE and EPP. Skills application, laboratory exercises, oral tests, design, creation, and layout of outputs, diagnosis and repair of damaged equipment. So these are examples of written products and performance tasks. Online distance learning. So that was from face-to-face. Now, if you are on online distance learning, if you are a teacher of English and Filipino, well, for written outputs, you can let them have a blog, post on a book or article review, essays submitted through email, e-journals, electronic mail writing, reaction or reflection papers. What about products? Online distance learning. Let them have a YouTube campaign videos, case study published through Adobe Google Meet. Online interviews, multimedia presentation using PowerPoint or Canva. Panel discussion via Zoom or Google Meet. Online presentation. You have another, I forget, submitted through email or through PDF if they are in written works. Now, additional products for languages, multimedia presentation uploaded in Facebook or YouTube, a portfolios, research projects, published in an e-journal, a story or a poem writing narrated through PowerPoint presentation. No. Or for performance tasks, you can also add recorded projects presentation, recorded monologues, speech delivery via Zoom or Google Meet, storytelling or reading via Zoom or Google Meet. Next slide, sir. What about in mathematics if you are having the online distance learning? Okay, written works, data recording and analysis using Google Forms, geometric and statistical analysis using Stata or Alex, graphs, charts, or maps using Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets, problem sets submitted via email, surveys using Google Forms. What about products? You let them have diagrams using Adobe Illustrator, mathematical investigatory projects with video presentation, models making or making models of geometric figures presented via Google Meet or Zoom, number presentation using Photoshop and Illustrators, or a portfolio. What about performance tests through online? Let them construct graphs through MS Word or Excel form surveys conducted. Multimedia presentation, probability experiments, problem posing, reasoning and proof through recitation during online classes. Video presentation using manipulative to show math concept, solve problem. Video demonstration using measuring tools and devices. So those are some performance tasks in mathematics if you are teaching online. What about in science? Science online. Written works, concept maps submitted via email, data recording and analysis using MS Excel or Google Sheets, laboratory reports and video documentation, reaction, reflection papers, surveys using Google Meet. What about products, investigatory projects, models and diagrams, construction, prototype building with video demonstration, or research papers? What about performance tasks, online learning on science, designing of action plans, online debates, designing various models using software, doing scientific investigation with video demonstration, issue awareness campaigns uploaded in YouTube, multimedia presentations, simulation software, skills demonstration via videos, verification experiments. So those are. So hindi na mahirap gumawa kahit na online class kayo sa science. What about in Aralin Panlipunan, online class? What can you give in your written works, concept maps and organizers, blog, essays, e-journals, news writing, news article reviews, reaction or reflection paper. What about tasks, products, collage, leaflet, poster, slogan making, map construction, research work, timelines, from documentary reviews and analysis, advocacy paper. What about performance tasks? Community involvement via Zoom or Google Meet, online debate, online interviews, issue awareness campaign uploaded in YouTube, news reporting, presentation and multimedia presentation, simulations. What about in music? No. So those are the things. No. Hindi ko na siguro lahat isa-isayan, no. Anyway, nandyan naman sa ating DepEd Order number 31, ang lahat ng ito, no. The reason why we are sharing it with you is because we want us to have one uniform interpretation, one standard application on DepEd Order number 31. Okay? Sige. Physical education, no? Nandyan. Kung ano ang gagawin mo if you are online teaching in physical education, in health, in edukasyon sa pagpapakatao, in APP and TLE. Next slide, sir. What about if you are using the printed or digital modular learning and the TBRBI and homeschooling? And this is usually the modality that our learners are engaged into. No. So, the same true with the previous presentation or slides that we had. No? If you are teaching English and Filipino, andyan po ang maaari nating ibigay sa written outputs, products at performance-based tasks. No? We can go over it and choose and plan and create your instruction on how they will do it. When will they do it? And when will they submit it? Okay. There. Next slide, sir. The music. This is digital printed. Edukasyon sa pagpapakatao. Okay. Sa rubrics po tayo, sir. Okay. Annex C is on rubrics. We all know what is rubrics all about. Now, this is a learning and assessment tool that is used to evaluate written outputs or products or performance-based tasks. It is a scoring guide that articulates expectation and describes the level of quality expected from the learners. That is from Andrade, 2000, Arthur, and Chipus, 2007. Okay. Now, there are essential features of a rubrics. This is according to Stevens and Levy. One feature of rubric, it should have a task description or a descriptive title, of which the tasks students are expected to produce or perform. A rubric should have a scale and scoring that describe the level of mastery. This like exceed expectation, meet expectation, does not meet expectation. Those are the level of mastery. A rubric should have a components or criteria that our students to attend in completing the assignment or task given to them, like the types of skills and the knowledge. And a rubric should have a description of the performance ability or quality, or this performance descriptor of the components dimension of its level of mastery. No. And a rubrics has two types, the analytic or holistic. You know, we always use the analytic because the different dimensions of performance are given ratings of every criteria or dimension. While a holistic, we seldom use this one because it describes the overall characteristics of a performance and the products. We always have the questions, how did you come up? How did you give them a 94 rating in their performance task? No. So in order to avoid these particular questions or clouds of doubts in the mind of our learners on how they will generate scores, we usually use the analytic kind of rubrics. Hello, I'm still be heard. Naririnig pa ba ninyo ako?
We are still here, Mom.
Okay, so this is a sample of holistic rubrics. We have there the title, the portfolio grading. No, it might be unang markahan. No, and then the description. No, this rubrics is designed to evaluate the portfolio submission based on content, presentation, and work and reflection. We have the performance descriptor. No, andyan siya. And the score, of course. And we have also the analytic. And this is usually the kind of rubrics that we use in our assessment in performance tasks or products related performance of our learners. It has also there a title, a description, a scale and scoring, performance descriptor, and the criteria. Okay. So, ayan po siya. Hindi na po natin isa-isahin yan dahil kayo po ay alam na alam ko, napaka-master nyo na pong gumawa ng rubric kind of assessment. Okay. Annex D is on sample integrative performance tasks. Now, this particular performance task covers many subjects. It targets many subjects. This is example used here is grade 11 on the core subjects. What are these core subjects? Oral communication, general mathematics, earth and life science, empowerment technologies, understanding culture, society and politics, and physical education and health. So there are how many core subjects that being integrated in this particular performance task. Okay, so it's there. No? Nakalagay din dito, kung nakikita ninyo sa slides natin, ang table wherein what particular most essential learning competencies is being targeted in doing this performance task integration. No, nandaan siya yung oral communication, anong MELC niya, and what week would it be, the general mathematics, the earth and life science. Next slide, sir. Also, empowerment technologies, understanding culture, society and politics, and the physical education and health. Now, so this integrative performance task for 1 week for online learners. Now, the teachers from those core subjects had to prepare and to plan one particular activity, wherein that particular activity can be integrated in the core subjects that we mentioned. No. At ito nga yun. For online learners, the learners are expected to create a blog as the first entry for virtual learning portfolio entitled, Pandemic Ka Lang, I Am Filipino. Okay. So yan ang kanilang performance task for online learners. For those who are on offline digital learners, what will be the performance task of these learners? They are expected to create an offline interactive presentation through slide text and injection of self-made videos as their first entry to their offline digital learning portfolio entitled Pandemic Ka Lang, I Am a Filipino. Next slide, sir. For those who are engaged in modular learning, what will be their performance task? The learners are expected to create an informative write-up report. Informative write-up report as their first entry for their learning portfolio entitled Pandemic Ka Lang, I Am a Filipino. So you see, no, on the different learning modalities, a different kind of performance tasks that they can have, that they can work, that they can do, and using integrating the different core subject, particularly in grade 11 core subjects. No, so it's there. The goal. This is the write-ups that they have to read so that they can come up with that particular performance task. So babasahin nila yan. No? Next slide, sir. So kailangan mabasa nila yan para madali nilang gawin. Okay. So the role of the learners here are they become the analyst, they become the researcher, they become the influencer of personal and social awareness and initiatives for global stewardship. No. What about for audience? For online learners, the task addresses a wide general public audience and different social media platforms, while offline digital learners and modular learners addresses their task to family members and immediate community. No. So it's there. Now, we have also this another situation wherein we can make another this time product naman. No. So kanina performance task. This time our learners has to come up with a particular product. Again, using the integrative performance task. The situation is the quarantine lockdown forced the youth ages 19 below to stay in their homes. Despite the quarantine restrictions, the Samahan ng mga Kabataan in Tansa launches youth empowerment campaigns highlighting the contributions and initiatives that young people can still do amidst the threats of the COVID-19. The learners, as the president of the organization, designs the campaign through creations of blog, interactive presentation, and informative write-ups, reports showcasing knowledge, awareness, initiative of Filipino youth in the time of pandemic. Ano ang product na pwede nilang gawin? For online learners, they can create a blog. For offline digital learners, creates an offline interactive presentation. For learners in the modular, they creates informative write-ups report. And now, for the standard performance task, they have to assess with the following guide. O, ito yung kanilang magiging rubrics. No. So this will be the rubrics to be used for the online blog. This is also, there are how many criteria? We have organization, content, creativity, and audience. Next slide, sir. Okay. This is also the rubrics to use in assessing the offline interactive presentation. This is for offline digital learners. The same criteria also, the same scale of scoring will be used to evaluate and assess their product. Okay, next slide, sir. Okay, this is also the rubrics to use in assessing the informative write-ups report for those who are under modular learners and with no gadget and connection. Take note that the same criteria are to be used, the same score scaling, so that whatever modalities they have the same standard way of measuring their performance. Okay. Okay. Next slide, sir. We are now in Annex E. Medyo mahaba kasi itong annexes. Okay. While ago, Ma'am Vilma had mentioned about the sample self-monitoring tool. And she said, I will not be dealing with it because Ma'am Munina will have a sample of it. Okay, this is now the sample. So Annex A is a sample on self-monitoring tool. This is a tool that teachers can use to both record evidences of learning and to give feedbacks also to learners and to their parents. Teachers must consider that the need of the learners and modify the sample tools accordingly. For instance, the portion of parents' feedback may be removed for older learners, so wala nang magiging monitoring ng ating mga magulang sa mga mature ng mga estudyante natin, like for our senior high school students. It says there that accomplishment of the self-monitoring tool is not mandatory, but it is highly recommended to be accomplished to keep track on the academic progress of learners. Hindi nga siya mandatory, pero highly recommended naman. No. Sige, so ito ang template. No. Pangalan ng mag-aaral, pangalan ng magulang o guardian ng mag-aaral, ano ang baitang at pangkat, kailan ang petsa na sakop ng monitoring na to. Okay. Para sa mga mag-aaral, ito ang pag-monitor natin sa mga mag-aaral. No. Meron tayong tatlong tanong wherein these questions should be answered from Monday to Saturday. No. So, paano ba natin ito ibibigay? Siguro, i-attach na rin natin ito, isasabay na rin natin ito sa once that our modules, no, are to be distributed. Kasi, if they are using the modular, no, printed module, and if they are using the digital, siguro, i-send na rin po natin sa kanila, no? Or pag online naman, it's easy. Okay. So ano ba mga question? Itong mga dapat na malaman natin para ma-monitor natin ang mga mag-aaral. Anong mga asignatura ang napag-aralan mo ngayon? No, so anong mga subjects? Number 2, kumusta ka sa mga aralin ngayon? Alin sa mga ito ang madali para sa iyo? Bakit? O, so yun. Pangatlo, may mga gusto ka bang itanong sa iyong guro tungkol sa aralin? Ilista mo dito ang iyong mga tanong. So, these are the essential questions that we would like to know while monitoring our learners using the different distance learning modalities. Ito naman ay para sa mga magulang, para ma-monitor din natin ang pagtulong, pag-support ng ating mga magulang sa kanilang mga anak. There are 2 essential questions then na malalaman natin. Unang tanong, Nagawa ba ng iyong anak ang kanyang mga gawain sa paaralan ngayong araw? That will be answered from Monday to Friday. Okay, mayroon diyang mga boxes, no? Una, nagawa ng bata mag-isa, nagawa ng bata na may tulong ng iba, di nagawa. So doon, no? Let's try to encourage our parents, our guardians na to honestly fill out this monitoring tool para sa kanila, para ma-address din natin kung ano ang pwede nating maitulong sa kanilang mga anak o sa kanila mismo. No. Number 2 question, kumusta ang pag-aaral ng iyong anak? May mga gusto ka bang iulat o itanong sa kanyang guro? Isulat dito ang iyong mga puna, suggestion o tanong. Okay. So yan, ang mga monitoring para sa ating mga magulang. What about for our teachers? Oh, we have to have our self-reflection also. We have to answer also the different comments and answers, no, of our learners and parents. Now, let's try to reflect also para magkaroon din tayo ng improvement, or we may have modification, or we may have changes on the way how we deal with our modules ba, with our online teaching ba, or with the way our digital prints is being delivered. So, kailangan ma-monitor din natin yung ating sarili. Okay, next slide, sir. Okay. Annex F is on three-level model of feedbacks. No, there are 3 level of feedbacks. Feedbacks at task level. Next slide, sir. Feedback at task level. And the third, feedback at process level. Okay. Walang problema sa first level, the feedback at task level, if our learners will have the correct answers and meeting the success criteria on the learning. Kasi sabi dito sa model, no, does her or does his or her answers meet the success criteria? Okay. Nandyan yung process, no. Is his, her answers correct and correct? If it's correct, what did he or she do well? If it's incorrect, it goes a lot of process. But the main point of it is we will not leave our learners if they have difficulty in meeting the success criteria that we are required them to have. Let's have other options. Let's have other way of questions. Let's have other way of criteria. Let us help them on how they will meet this criteria. So following this model, no, babasahin lang po natin ito. No, madali lang naman din po itong intindihin. Basta ang importante is walang problema kung nasagot ng bata yung tama at na-meet niya yung gusto mong makamit. But ang problema is kung hindi nakuha ng bata. And that is being reflected in the individual monitoring learning plan ng ating mga mag-aaral. So, from that, punta ka sa task level. How will you change it? How will you help your learners meet the criteria that you are requiring her or him to meet? No? Okay, so next slide, sir. Okay. Annex G, it's on matrix of sample tools organized by low, medium, and high technology. No. So we have there assessment for remote learning. For remote learning, we are to make use of the modular or printed module, remote learning. Now, what does it say in here? This is strategic intelligence brief on assessment for remote learning, maps out relevant technologies ranging from low to high forms of technology that can be used for assessing students' learning, depending on the persons administering the assessment. So we have there So if you are in remote learning and you are the one administering this assessment, these are the following. No, if you are the teacher, ito, you can consider using a low technology if you are using the following. Halimbawa, no, we are using printed supplemental activities and assessment pick up from school or delivered to homes. So low technology siya kasi it does not involve technology. We are assessing them using the flashcard, the pop-up books, poster, comics, creative self-evaluation, questions at the end of each topic, multicolored post-it that represents level of understanding per page, and rubrics. These are considered low technology assessment. Medium technology, example, bite-sized assessment through single messages system like text examples of summaries, photo, drawings, voice memo, self-evaluation, questions and reflections, questions, bite-sized comics, radio, TV. These are medium technology because it uses simple technology. But a high-end technology, and you are using this particular things, then it can be considered high technology assessment, like PDF format assessment created using iPad, tablets, or laptop, or desktop computer through the following application or software: Word or Pages, PowerPoint, Keynote, Excel, Numbers, iBook. For formative and summative assessment, assess from local online open resources like DepEd Commons. Now that is high-end technology because we are using technology. Digital assessment like ebook, video, audio, or image format. Mixed formative assessment ay dynamics media created. We have the Kotobi, Tingling. Next slide, sir. Ang dami, no? Kaya tignan niyo lang po ninyo, no? No, baka gusto ninyong maging high technology giver in assessment. Ang dami po ninyong pwedeng maibigay sa ating mga mag-aaral. Okay. Next slide, sir. Okay. Sige. So, if you are a parent administering the assessment using those kind of technology, the low, the medium, and the high, ito rin po ang gagamitin na ibibigay ng mga magulang. Parang pareho din po sa pag-administer ng teacher. What about ikaw mismo na learner ang mag-administer sa sarili mong assessment? No, pag very low technology ang gagamitin mo, you will make use of printed self-assessment tools. No, a checklist, pre-rubrics designed for students' reference, reflection sheets. No. Pagka medium, gamit ka ng e-journal, bite-sized assessment, na andyan siya. Pagka high-end technology naman ang gusto mong i-assess ang sarili mo, ayan, ang dami. Coursera, edX, Udemy, self-directed learning, DepEd Commons, Facebook, Khan Academy, etc., etc. Next, sir. Okay, now, I think this is the second to the last, my God, no, slides that I will be presenting. Annex S, it's on guidelines for teachers in determining the appropriate performance tasks for a learning standard. No, it says there that it is strongly suggested that teachers use innovative and suitable techniques in designing and planning performance tasks. No, it is recommended that teachers conceptualize, contextualize performance tasks depending on the needs and nature of their learners. Huwag naman po natin silang bigyan nang alam natin na hindi po nila kaya. Huwag naman po tayong para bang pinahihirapan natin ang ating mga mag-aaral. Remember, we are here to guide them, to help them, to support them, and not to give them challenges that it will create negative, that will create an interest in answering our module, in attending our online classes. No. Okay. So, these are the characteristics of performance tasks. Nandyan po siya. There are 7. Please have it. Read. Anyway, these are self-explanatory. If you have this particular characteristics in your performance task, then we could say that the performances that you will impose to your learners will be attainable, practical, and it will give meaning to them as they go on with this learning task. Okay? Before I will end, ladies and gentlemen, of this orientation, I would like to share with you also the secret of success according to Shami Sivananda, one practitioner of Buddhism, when he says that, put your heart, your mind, your intelligence and soul, even to your smallest acts. This is the secret of success. Good morning, good noon, and thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Molina. Thank you for that wide latitude of discussion on the different annexes of DO31. We are overly fed. That is it. Thank you so much, ma'am. This time, let's move on to the next speaker to talk about the conduct of remote assessment to include feedback and remediation. Ladies and gentlemen, the Education Program Supervisor, Mom Helen Silao.
Ma'am Cha, okay na?
Yes, sir. Please proceed.
Ma'am Mitch, sige na Ma'am Mitch, i-play.
CID Chief Dr. Equally active Assistant Schools Division Superintendent Dr. Lorma I. Pukulan. Our very active is DOD Chief Dr. Noor Hussein. Equally active and amiable CID Chief Dr. Amelinda D. Montero. PSDS of this Miss District, Mrs. Arsinia C. Zamoras and Mrs. Vilma C. Velasco. My co-EPS surrogate of this district, Dr. Monina R. Antiquina, diligent and supportive heads of elementary and secondary schools, dedicated teachers of this division, especially in the West District, a quality morning to everyone. My topic on this DepEd Order number 31, known as the interim guideline of for assessment and grading in the light of the basic education learning continuity plan, is particularly I will be discussing with you the topic on conducting assessment remotely and feedback and remediation. Communicating the assessment task. In communicating the assessment task, teachers must ensure the following details are explained. A. Objectives of the assessment task. B.
Roles of learners and parents and or guardians. C. Procedure and expected timeline. D. Standards and rubrics. The teacher must consult the learners and, when necessary, parents and or guardians to allow room for adjustment, flexibilities needed in any. We have also the record of progress. The collection and recording of evidences of learning is integral part of monitoring student learning and development. That's why teachers will have also to keep portfolio for each of our learners. Listed below are some sample strategies for this purpose. We have A, self-monitoring tool. C, Annex A. E, consider the needs of learners per case stage. Example, early grades need assistance from parents, while older learners are expected to accomplish self-reflection tools on their own because older learners are already matured and they can already manage their own or oneself. Check-ins of teacher with learner during assessment period. And letter C, evidence of learning in the student's learning portfolio. Kaya ito na ang sample na template para sa monitoring ng mga mag-aral at mga magulang. At ang ating talakayin ngayon ay ang monitoring template para sa mag-aaral. Dito makikita natin ang column na may pangalan ng mag-aaral at baitang at pangkat. Mayroon ding pangalan ng magulang o guardian ng mag-aaral at ang pitsa na sakop ng pulmonaryo. At ang mga katanungan, mayroong tatlong tanong na inilaan. At ang katanungan na ito ay sasagutin mula sa Lunes hanggang sa Sabado. Ang unang tanong, anong asignatura ang napag-aralan mo ngayon? Kalawang tanong, kumusta ka sa mga aralin ngayon? Alin sa mga ito ang madali para sa iyo? Bakit? Katlong tanong, may mga gusto ka bang itanong sa inyong guro tungkol sa aralin? Ilista mo dito ang inyong mga tanong. Kaya ito na rin ang sample template ng monitoring para sa magulang o guardian. At ito ay sasagutin din nila mula sa Lunes hanggang sa Biyernes. At ang mga tanong na ito ay una, nagawa ba ng inyong anak ang kanyang gawain sa paaralan ngayong araw? Kumusta ang pag-aaral ng inyong anak? May mga gusto ka bang isulat o tanong sa kanyang guro? Isulat dito ang iyong mga puna, suhestyon o tanong. At ang mga katanungang ito ay sasagutin o may inilaang sagot na para sa mga magulang na may pagkapilian. Una, nagawa ng bata mag-isa, nagawa ng bata na may tulong ng iba, at nagawa o di nagawa. So, ibig sabihin, sa tatlong pagkapilian nila, lagyan na lang ng ikis ng mga magulang. At ito'y gagawin mula sa Lunes hanggang sa Biyernes. At mayroon ding espasyong inilaan para maglagay ang guro ng sagot o komento para sa mga kasagutan ng mga magulang. Okay, the last topic, which is letter C, is on feedback and remediation. To benefit student learning, both formative and summative assessment must be accompanied with timely, constructive, and meaningful feedback based on learners' record progress. In giving feedback, teachers need to maximize available communication options. Example, writing feedback on the output, texting feedback via SMS, and using online channels, and among others. An XF provides a guide to help frame decisions and appropriate feedback to learners. And the second topic which I am to tackle is about feedback and remediation. Consistent with Deep Ed Order Number 8, Series 2015, teachers should ensure that learners receive remediation when they earn raw scores which are consistently below expectation in summative assessment by the 5th week of the quarter. So, ibig sabihin, dito, kailangan ang mga guro ay maglaan ng paraan, gagawa ng mga gawain na payak tungkol sa kanilang ileksyon upang ang mga batang ito ay makahabol sa leksyong itinuturo. So, ang mga gawain na inilaan ng guro sa mga batang hindi papasa sa grading na yun, dapat payak. Means, very simple for the slow learners to tackle. And that with that way or process, this will prevent a student from failing in any learning area at the end of the school year. That ends my topic, and God bless to everybody and good day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mom Helen, for that very brief discussion of feedbacking and remediation, as well as the conduct of remote assessment. This time, let us hear from our very dynamic, rigorous Chief of the Curriculum Implementation Division to give her closing remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Amelinda Montero.
Good morning to all. My special salutation to our top management, headed of course by our Schools Division Superintendent, Sir Virgilio Batan and Ma'am Lorma Pupulan. The role of closing remarks is actually to acknowledge everyone who actually participated in this academic endeavor of the CID. But I'd like also to inform everyone that formative and summative assessment is an integral part of the teaching learning episode. The loop of the TLE, teaching learning episode, will not be closed without formative and summative assessment. With that, thank you and have a happy lunch. Good morning.
Thank you so
Mommy. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your indulgence, fellow educators. We've finished the task. Congratulations to all of us.
Picture take. Open your camera. Congratulations.
May I request everybody who are present to please open your camera for picture taking? Honestly, I do not know how to take a picture on screen, sir. I need somebody to do it.
Picture na lang talaga. Literal na picture.
Screenshot na lang, ma'am.
Screenshots.
Or print
Okay.
screen.
Ma'am B, I think you can do it. I do not know how to do it.
Naka-screenshot na ko.
Congratulations to all our speakers. Thank you for everyone. Maayod to sa tanan. Maniud to na ta. God bless everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
God
Sir
bless.
Jun.
Thank you,
Thank
Sir
you, Ma'am
Jun.
Roma. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am Cha,
Ma'am,
you play
answers.
our video, Ma'am Cha.
Thank you so much.
Okay, salamat, salamat. Special thanks goes to the participants of this event, to our public district supervisor and personal Mom Vilma Velasco for Cluster B, and to Mom Arsenia Sumares for Cluster A, and of course to the school principals of the West District, to include, of course, the Education Program Supervisor for Kindergarten, Mrs. Helen B. Silao, and of course, the alluring Education Program Supervisor for Araling Panlipunan, Mrs. Monina Antikina. Not to forget the support of our leaders in the executive department. Of course, our schools division superintendent, Mr. Virgilio P. Batan Jr., and Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Lorma Okulan. We should not forget that our CID chief is always behind us in every endeavor that we do. To Ma'am Amelinda Montero, thank you so much. And also to the participants, thank you for indulging